Okay, continuing along and report from Iron Mountain, we are finishing off section 5, the functions of war. Beginning with the development of iron and steel, the proceeding through the discoveries of the laws of motion and thermodynamics to the age of the atomic particle, the synthetic polymer, and the space capsule, no important scientific advance has not been at least indirectly initiated by an implicit requirement of weaponry. More prosaic examples include the transistor radio, an outgrowth of military communications requirements, the assembly line from Civil War firearms needs, the steel frame building from the steel battleship, the canal lock, and so on. A typical adaptation can be seen in a device as modest as the common lawn mower. It developed from the revolving scythe devised by Leonardo da Vinci to precede a horse-powered vehicle into enemy ranks. The most direct relationship can be found in medical technology. For example, a giant walking machine, an amplifier of body motions invented for military use in difficult terrain, is now making it possible for many previously confined to wheelchairs to walk. The Vietnam War alone has led to spectacular improvements in amputation procedures, blood handling techniques, and surgical logistics. It has stimulated new large-scale research on malaria and other tropical parasite diseases. It is hard to estimate how long this work would otherwise have been delayed despite its enormous non-military importance to nearly half the world's population. We have elected to omit from our discussion of the non-military functions of war those we do not consider critical to a transition program. This is not to say they are unimportant, however, but only that they appear to present no special problems for the organization of a peace-oriented social system. They include the following: war as a general social release. This is a psychosocial function, serving the same purpose for a society as do the holiday, the celebration, and the orgy for the individual. The release and redistribution of undifferentiated tensions. War provides for the periodic necessary readjustment of standards of social behavior, the moral climate, and for the dissipation of general boredom, one of the most consistently undervalued and unrecognized of social phenomena. War as a generational stabilizer. This psychological function, served by other behavior patterns in other animals, enables the physically deteriorating older generation to maintain its control of the young, destroying it if necessary. War as an ideological clarifier. The dualism that characterizes the traditional dialectic of all branches of philosophy and of stable political relationships stems from war as the prototype of conflict. Except for secondary considerations, there cannot be, to put it as simply as possible, more than two sides to a question, because there cannot be more than two sides to a war. War as the basis for international understanding. Before the development of modern communications, the strategic requirements of war provided the only substantial incentive for the enrichment of one national culture with the achievements of another. Although this is still the case in many international relationships, the function is obsolete. We have also foregone extended characterization of those functions we assume to be widely and explicitly recognized. An obvious example is the role of war as controller of the quality and degree of unemployment. This is more than an economic and political subfunction. Its sociological, cultural, and ecological aspects are also important, although often teleonomic. But none affect the general population or the general problem of substitution. The same is true of certain other functions. Those we have included are sufficient to define the scope of the problem. And that ends section 5, the functions of war. and we will pick up with section 6, substitutes for the function of war. Hope you're enjoying, hope you're hanging in there. The book really doesn't have a lot more to go, but it will take several videos for sure.